Balatro, on the surface, seems like the kind of game you would try once and delete. Its premise is simple: poker played with a standard deck of cards. But something about this lovely little $20 indie game is much different than your typical poker game, and Balatro will pull you in and keep you coming back for more. In fact, I've been burnt out in gaming for quite a while, and this is the first game that I've truly enjoyed in a very long time. And I'm not alone. With millions of copies sold and overwhelmingly positive reviews, Balatro is awesome, and even if you're hesitant about buying it, you'll probably end up loving this game too. So how does something with such an unassuming exterior become so utterly addictive? If you love that satisfying mix of chance and strategy found in games like Slay the Spire or FTL, Balatro is here to steal your time and possibly your sanity, and to make you become a gambling addict. So, to understand why, I need to start by explaining the concept. The allure of Balatro lies in its deceptively simple mechanics. You're dealt a hand of cards, allowed to discard whatever you don't want, and then made to form the best poker hand possible with what's remaining. And I mean actual poker hands, the combinations of cards that you would use to score a real-life poker game. But here's the twist. Special cards, wild cards, and crazy jokers give you insane ways to manipulate the odds. We'll dive into the strategies and exhilarating combos soon, but trust me, once you taste the power of pulling off a perfectly timed full house, you will be hooked. I think I understand how gambling addicts are formed now. Scrape that mother! Again, Balatro may not seem appealing at first because it definitely didn't to me. In fact, I was kind of perplexed about why the reviews were so good. But the thing is, you'll probably love this game, even if these types of games don't typically appeal to you. And to truly understand its brilliance, we need to crack open a single run and explore the thrilling twists and turns and insane amounts of dopamine that await. So, you start out with a virtual deck of 52 standard playing cards and a series of simplistic, slightly uninspiring numbers called blinds. Blinds are basically the bosses that you have to fight in this game, and you fight them by using your deck of cards and trying to build those best possible combinations that I mentioned earlier. Each card is scored, and once it's scored, it earns you chips. Chips are basically your points, and you have to score an increasing number of points to beat each blind. The blinds get progressively harder, so as time goes on, you gotta strategize and play better combinations of cards to earn more points. And by better combinations, I mean better combinations of typical poker cards. See, that's where the game ties in with poker. Here's a list of all the possible poker hands, and whether you know nothing about poker or are a full-blown sports betting, poker-playing degenerate, you'll learn what they are pretty quickly. The ones at the bottom are the worst, and the ones at the top are the best, so aim for these ones to score higher points. For example, a flush is made up of 5 cards of the same suit. So if you have 5 cards that are hearts, you can play them, and it counts as a flush, which adds to the points of each card and then multiplies it by 4. A pair, on the other hand, which is obviously much easier to form, only gets multiplied by 2. So the harder combinations of cards to play are worth more points, and the ones that are easier to play based on your hand are worth less points. Down here, you have a certain number of hands that you can play, and you need to get to this score before you run out of hands. If you don't, no matter how far you are into your run, you lose, and there's nothing you can do about it. So you go back to the beginning and start over for the 100th time in one night to keep the dopamine flowing. And that beautifully simple gameplay loop is awesome. There's nothing around to waste your time or distract you from the reason that this game exists in the first place. It is very intentional, and let me tell you, intentionality in game design is something that I always love. When I first picked this game up, I spent 6 straight hours playing poker hands, and the level of addictiveness that this simple gameplay loop creates is something that I haven't experienced at this scale since Factorio came out. I was so addicted, in fact, that I completely forgot to eat dinner, which to be honest is something I do quite often. Well, at least I used to, until I started using the sponsor of today's video, HelloFresh. I hate going to the grocery store, and HelloFresh has made it so much easier to make healthy, exciting recipes without the hassle of shopping in a crowded and annoying store. HelloFresh has over 50 flavorful recipes to choose from each week, and the ingredients get delivered right to your door. Everything is pre-portioned, and all you have to do is choose what you want to cook, and when you want to get your stuff delivered, and you're good to go. So if you're tired of staring at your fridge thinking about what to make, just to realize that the only thing you have in there is 2 beers and some chicken broth, consider giving HelloFresh a try. It is America's #1 meal kit, and if you click the link in the description or use my code, you'll get 10 free meals and free appetizers for life. 1 appetizer item per box while subscription is active if you're in the US. Outside of the US, the local discount will apply. Thanks again to HelloFresh for sponsoring this video, and now back to our Balatro addiction. It's actually mind-blowing how easily Balatro hooks you in and keeps you coming back for more. And for some reason, a lot of people seem to agree here. But the irony is that this is just the surface, my friend. What I've just described is the foundation of Balatro, but there are a few layers of complexity that turn a fun little 3 to 4 hour adventure into a 100+ hour poker playing extravaganza. See, Balatro is a roguelike, and roguelikes need depth to stay fun for extended periods of time. Imagine Hades without the randomized abilities, or Binding of Isaac without the crazy combinations of items that you can create. It would make the entire thing boring and repetitive, defeating the entire purpose of creating an infinitely replayable roguelike to begin with. And luckily for us, this work of art creates depth without unnecessary complexity on a level that I haven't really seen before. Beating the required score to take down the blinds gets progressively harder as you beat bosses, and your simple little poker hands won't be able to keep up. So you need something new. Well, luckily for you, with every blind that you defeat, you earn money, and this money is used in the shops that appear after every battle to buy better cards, upgrade your deck, and add bonuses in the forms of jokers. Let's go back to the Binding of Isaac example and compare this mechanic to the shop where you spend your coins to buy new powers and make the run more interesting. Same vibe. Jokers are what really shake this game up. There are currently 150 Joker cards in the game, and each and every one of them brings a unique twist that can help you get further and further in your runs and earn more points. They're basically passive buffs that change the value of certain cards, earn you more chips, adds multipliers, and do other things that shake up the formula and give you a higher chance at actually winning. You can have up to 5 of these at any given time, and their bonuses apply to every hand that you play. And these bonuses range from adding additional multipliers to specific cards, to changing how hands are scored, and even allowing you to earn some extra money from specific actions. Just to give you an idea of what this looks like, here are some of my favorites. There's this one that allows you to play a straight, which usually requires 5 cards in sequential order, like 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, with the ability to skip a card. So you could do something like 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 instead, and it makes scoring a straight, which is one of the highest scoring hands, a lot easier. Basically, you can kind of have a gap in the order of the cards and it still works. Then, if you get lucky, you can combine that Joker with one that allows you to play a straight with only 4 sequential cards instead of 5. Then, you can get additional Joker cards that increase the amount of chips you score for playing a straight, and even some that give you extra money every time a straight is played at all. Like I said, these Jokers are basically your passives, and they apply to every hand you play, but they also require some strategy. It adds another layer of complexity where you have to manage your money to buy the good Jokers that appear in the store and balance your Jokers so that they work well together. As you can see, the boring poker game starts to get exciting and awesome pretty quickly. Your lovely little degenerate poker experience is now turning into something more beautiful and fleshed out, and before long, you'll be like my friend Oni Zombies, who's absolutely addicted to Balatro, just like I am. But that is still just the surface of how awesome this game really is, because like I hinted at a second ago, you can also upgrade your hands. See, in the start, a pair will give you a ×2 multiplier, but ×2 isn't going to cut it when you're fighting blinds that require tens of thousands of chips. So this is where you gotta use planet cards. Planet cards are a one-use item that you can buy or acquire that upgrade the level of your played hand. So that level 1 pair that gave you a ×2 can be upgraded to turn that ×2 multiplier into a ×3, ×4, and so on. These are crucial to having a good run, and this adds yet another level of depth to the game, where you also have to decide which planet cards to use and which hands you want to upgrade, so that you can upgrade them, use them, and earn as many chips as possible. The game creates the perfect level of challenge at all times, and I haven't once come across an issue where I felt under or overpowered. The difficulty seems to match your skill level, and this perfect balance is what keeps you so hooked. You remain in a sort of flow state, threading the line between boredom and anxiety, where you're just challenged enough to keep going. And, well, it's awesome. If you play hands that you haven't spent time leveling up, it'll be hard to get the number of chips that you need to beat the blinds, so make sure you pay attention, or you can be like me and lose a run that you're about to beat because you clicked the wrong card. You gotta do everything in your favor to beat these blinds if you want to become a professional gambler and eventually make it to the big guys, the boss blinds. See, normal blinds require you to score a certain number of chips, but at the end of every round, you come across a boss blind that just likes to see the world burn. These things are 100% randomized, and each one has a different debuff that completely screws you over and makes the fight even harder than it should be. Good job! You've been utilizing jacks, queens, and kings with specific Joker perks to score a lot of points. Well, this guy's decided that all face cards will be drawn where you can't even see what they are. Better hope you pick something good. These boss blinds and abilities are actually one of my favorite things about this game, but oh god did they piss me off. They keep each round interesting and make it to where you have to change up your strategy and not get overconfident with your ability to score chips. It's annoying, but I love it, and they allow for the game to be infinitely replayable. There's nothing like getting extremely far into a run and feeling like you're on top of the world, just to be humbled by a boss blind that decides your spade cards aren't worth his time or money. Maybe you should have invested the cash you earned at every round into something more interesting, like the other options you can find in the shop. Besides the planet cards and jokers, you can also buy tarot cards, which are consumables that enhance or modify your hand. These can be stored in your inventory and used in the middle of a run to do something like convert those godforsaken spade cards into another suit, or to upgrade your playing cards with bonuses or extra benefits. There are 22 of these, and while I don't use them as much as I should, they can really come in handy when you're struggling to reach the required number of chips to beat a boss. There are also things called spectral cards, which are basically tarot cards on steroids if they were having a bad day. These things can give you some insane perks, but they usually come with a downside as well, like adding a buff to one of your joker cards but destroying all of the other ones in the process. And finally, in the shop you can buy packs. If a game about gambling isn't enough gambling for you, then you can gamble even more and hope that these packs give you something good. You can either get more playing cards to add to your deck, random tarot cards, random planet cards, or even some of those spectral cards. These are good when the shop doesn't have anything interesting, and they're a solid way to spend your hard-earned money in a game where it's just burning a hole in your pocket. This wide selection of consumables, cards, and abilities really helps to make this game shine where other roguelikes and card games get old, and it's a beautiful piece of game design that really makes Balatro into an awesome title. As you beat boss blinds and successfully complete challenges or runs, you unlock different run styles. One of them starts you out with $20, one of them gives you an additional discard after every single boss blind, and the list goes on. These modifiers, combined with the ability to change the difficulty level, makes it a constant challenge, and you can get dozens of hours out of this game before you even beat the first of these 15 different game challenges. And that is Balatro, my friends. It is such a cool little indie game that genuinely, and I say this without exaggeration, is one of the most addictive games I've ever played. I don't know what it is about this title, but Jesus Christ, it keeps me coming back for more over and over and over and over again. And if you've played it, you probably think the same thing, so if that's true for you, let me know in the comments. But guess what? Even after all of this, I've only scratched the surface for how the gameplay actually works. There are so many deeper strategies involved with this game, and so many other things that you have to take note of as you dive into it. Like the fact that your cards can be buffed with special abilities like earning you money when you don't play them, increasing your multiplier, and earning you bonus chips. Before long, if you do everything right, you can score tens of thousands of chips in one hand, and that genuinely has to be one of the most exciting parts about this game. This is a great simple game that's nice to play when you want something casual, and it's 1000% worth the purchase. I love supporting indie projects like this, and it's crazy to me that larger game developers still pump out consistent garbage that people wait in line to buy, while cool stuff like this isn't more popular. And that is yet another reason why Balatro is so awesome. As you've probably noticed, I took a pretty long break from doing game reviews, but guess what, baby? I'm back. I was feeling a bit burnt out and wanted to reapproach how I do these videos, so let me know in the comments if you enjoy the slight change in the style. And also, let me know how you feel about Balatro. Have you played it? Do you find it as addicting as I do? What are some other games like it, or are there any? Drop a comment below and leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed. I will see you guys next time, and peace.